All right, sweet. So welcome to this little gathering about making dreams come true. I love this topic so much, and this feels like a really sweet circle, the five of us. There might be others who pop in, but for now, I'll just assume it's going to be the five of us. Um, hmm. Actually, I think I'm actually going to pause recording so that we can just do some check-ins because that's really how I love to. I feel like I do better when we've all had a chance to kind of presence where we are, and then I'll kind of go into the topic and then start recording again. And I want to guide us in a little bit of a meditation right now. And I'm gonna mute y'all so that there's not any, well, as little background noise as possible. There might be some on my end, but we'll see. Um, yeah, I want to, for this little meditation, see if you can find a comfortable seat and prepare to just settle in for a few minutes here. Maybe take another deep breath if that feels good for you. This is going to be a little journey to help us focus in on what desires, fantasies, like to just kind of get into this frequency, the vibration of dreaminess and making dreams come true. I'm guessing it'll be like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. Let's see. So yeah, get yourselves comfy. You all look pretty comfy and dropped in already. Yeah, go ahead and close your eyes. Hmm. Let's start by drawing your attention to your breath. So noticing the flow of air coming in and out of your nose or your mouth. Invitation to breathe through your nose for this one. Notice how your diaphragm is moving as you bring air in and move it out of your body. For your next breath, bring your awareness to your diaphragm, this muscle that's underneath the lungs, top of your belly. It's a very wise muscle that is part of regulating our breathing. It's also very connected to our heart and our belly. It sits right at our third chakra. It's a place of energy where we hold our ideas about ourselves, our sense of identity, self-confidence, and will. So as you breathe, just bring your attention here and bring some appreciation and love to your diaphragm. Really noticing how it's moving. Is it moving slowly? Is there any tension that you might be able to release in your belly or your chest, kind of the muscles around your diaphragm? Let's honor the diaphragm right now as this bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. We can consciously control our breathing through the diaphragm by holding or elongating the breath or shortening it. And if we are no longer aware of it, the diaphragm, the body just takes over. So this little muscle is like this bridge between the subconscious and the conscious. So for these next few breaths, just notice what it's doing and appreciate that it's moving at all. You might introduce just a little bit of intention to the diaphragm, of inviting it to move in a way that feels really pleasurable for this next breath or two. Maybe it feels good to make the breath longer and deeper, or maybe it feels good to hold the breath. Maybe you can let your diaphragm feel connected to your pelvic bowl and your genitals. And from this place, really grounded within your body, I want to invite you to think of some experience that you've had recently. Could be really recently, or maybe just in the past year or two. Some experience where it felt like a dream came true, where you were just pinching yourself. You're like, is this really happening right now? Oh my goodness. Could be something really little, like a favorite food that you got to eat, or maybe it was something really big, like a new job or a new partner or new house or something, big or small. Just let yourself go to that place somatically where a dream just came true for you. Like, wow, how did I get so lucky? And really let that experience like fill up your whole body. Remember what was happening, the colors, the textures, what you were wearing, the feeling on your skin. And let that feeling permeate your diaphragm and how you're breathing. Just let your cells continue to drink in this experience of, wow, dreams do come true. Let your attention drift down to your pelvic bowl and your genitals. Notice how this part of your body responds to this dream coming true. Might even allow your breath to really descend into this lower part of your body, your belly, your hips, your ass, sitting down. And then, like you're kind of flipping through a deck of cards or a photo album, let yourself just scroll through your life into the future of some fantasy or dream, some experience that you might like to have. It could be something really realistic that could easily happen, or maybe it's something a little more like unusual or feels further away, like it might not happen. Maybe it's imagining world peace, or maybe it's just imagining a wonderful meal that you'd like to have. So don't think too hard about it. Just allow some dream or fantasy to land in your body of something you would really like to experience. And I'll give you all a few more breaths here to just kind of scroll through, filter through. Might be helpful to go back to the past experience of something that has already happened and then let that feeling populate a new dream, a new fantasy, something that you might like to have happen in the future. And then once you've got your fantasy, your dream, whatever it is, I invite you to imagine that it has already happened. So imagine that it has happened in the past and you are now reflecting upon it. Like, oh yeah, that time that this dream came true for me. How did I get so lucky? So imagine the sense of gratitude that you would feel, maybe a sense of fulfillment, settledness even. And again, notice how that feels in your body. And then see if you can notice some detail of this memory. So maybe a way that it happened, something you might be wearing, something that someone said, a color. Just focus on that little detail for a moment. And then again, let's come back to our breathing, back to your diaphragm, back to your body. Notice how your breath is moving in your body at this time. And then in another moment or two, I'm going to invite you to open your eyes and we're going to come back into our little circle. And when you do, I want to see if you can, I want to invite you to keep this like dreamy energy of, having dreams come true and see if you can still hold on to it while you open your eyes and come back into the contact with the rest of us, the other people on the Zoom screen. So you might need to open your eyes and take a little sip, take us in, and then close your eyes and see if you can go back to this more dreamy internal space. So for the next couple minutes, let's just play with that, with opening your eyes and taking in the circle and then closing your eyes and coming back to your own energy. Hmm. Taking in these other humans and then dipping back into your own energy. Hmm. This in and of itself is such a practice of intimacy, of like maintaining that self connection while you're engaged with others. So let's just take another minute and really play with this. And as we come back into our circle and you take a look at each other, as we're looking, I want to invite you to look at each being as if they are such a magical creature, just like you are. Like, wow, look at these four other humans that are so amazing and so magical. I feel like this is easier for me because I know each of you. Well, some of you know each other, but whether you know each other or not, I know each of you to be magical creatures. So I'm just inviting myself to like go around and look at each of you and behold you as the magical forest fairy beings that you are. Then I'm going to close my eyes and come back to myself for a minute. If you need that, you can do that too. Then we'll come back into the circle one more time. Yeah, reopening my eyes and looking at each of you. And I'm like kind of imagining some sort of like swirling that's happening, like the five of us, like creating this little magical cauldron together. Hmm. Yeah. Ah. So I will share a bit about like some of the material that I wanted to share with y'all and what's really alive for me dream wise right now. And then I'd love to open it up to each of you to share if there's things that like a fantasy that came through. I know Dan and Mervyn, the two of you, were really going to focus on your process a bit. Um, but before we get to that, I want to, yeah, just keep giving a little more framing for this. You know, it's a very organic process. It's not like I'm not coming at y'all with some like step by step. I'm so done with step by steps. Like they just kind of annoy me. So everything is like this whirling spiral of like organic beingness, and there is no step by step. Anyway, that's, you talk to me on a different day. I'll have a step by step, but I don't today. Um, so a few of the principles that I wanted to share, and then I'll talk about like what's really alive for me right now in terms of dreams. Um, mm, is this principle of really being in touch with our desires. And hopefully some of that maybe came through in the little meditation. Um, and I wanted to name that staying in touch with our desires is such a multi-level process because I have sort of the desires that I'm like habitually aware of, like, oh, that I'm going to want to eat, or I'm going to want to have some connection or have some downtime, like the things that are sort of part of the daily rhythm of life, of things that like that I just know I need to take care of myself. Um, and then there's the things that are like more refined, like what would I really love in this moment? And those can be much harder to really connect with, um, because it's like I think it's almost like a failure of the imagination. Like we just can't. It can be hard to conjure the things that are truly delightful in a certain moment. I had this realization I was in a workshop once, and I think we were just being asked to name our desires into the circle. And I came up with some garden variety of something I wanted. And then, someone else named something that they wanted that I was like, yes, that's actually much more accurate than what I had said. And it was like a more refined version of what I really wanted. I think I wanted someone to like really hold me or like pet my hair, or like it was something more specific. Um, so I just wanted to normalize that it can take sort of other people naming what they want to help us, and some focus to like really help us get to that next level of like what would really delight us. So I'm going to go ahead and name some of the things that feel alive for me. And I'm hoping that as you all name things that are alive for you, we can kind of do that cross-pollinating where, you hear something that someone else is wanting and it sort of up levels your desires and your refinement of what it is that you really want. Um, because I've found that as we move through life and get more refined and more specific and more detailed, like sometimes it's just like the little things that um, can really magnetize something. So, oh, and then another thing, that the principle that I wanted to name is just that some fantasies and some desires aren't actually meant to come true, right? Like they can just be, I call them thought babies, where it's like they just come through into the thought realm, but they're not actually meant to like come through the birth canal and come into three-dimensional reality. And so it's really important to not filter, like, and this is an issue that I have a lot where it's like I only want to conceive of dreams and fantasies that are meant to come true. And so it's like I pre-filter them before I even let my brain go to them. Like, so I'll give you one example, and I can't, maybe some of y'all have heard this, but so I have this dear friend, Allison, and she has a house behind my house in Kentucky. many of you have been to my house in Kentucky, and I can walk to her house by walking through the woods to get to her house. Takes about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes or something. And I have this fantasy, and she and I both have this fantasy of us having a herd of goats that we like herd through the woods from my house to hers. And this is not probably something that's going to come true because, like, I don't think I really, there's just many reasons why it probably won't come true. But I still love this fantasy, and even just naming it to y'all, like I can feel the change in my body of naming it because it just like gives me so much joy to imagine. And I have no idea why I want to experience this. It just makes like, is it from some past life as a goat herder? Like, why do I want to do it? I don't get it, but I want it. And it just feels so delightful to me. So that's an example of like a dream that it doesn't need to come true to still serve. It's still serving me and Allison by just existing as a thought form. So that's a principle I want y'all to just lean into today of like just letting the fantasies and the dreams like land in your mind. It may not need to land in three-dimensional reality to still serve in some way. And then the other principle we already kind of played with, which is this principle of just imagining that it's already happened. That's a super powerful way to just invite, to open the channels for receiving, and invite things to actually, magical and wild things to actually happen. Okay, so those are some of the principles. I'll get down to some specifics that are really alive for me. I'd love to pass it off to y'all. Um, yeah, to see what's bubbling for you. Um, so the dreamy one of the dreamy things that comes to mind is yesterday morning I woke up in the arms of a lover, and his name is Max, and I woke up before he did, and I was just holding him, and I don't know, we were sort of like intertwined somehow. And I had this like deep sense of full body devotion to him, just adoration and devotion and love and turn on. And I was just holding him and just letting my body feel this like love and devotion to him, and how much I adore him. Um, and I wasn't acting on it. I wasn't moving. So I just kept like closing my eyes and coming into like the felt sense of devotion, and then like watching my breath and just kind of playing with the yummy, like this honey. It was like honey was just like running through my whole body. Um, and when he woke up, I don't know how long it was. Of course, I told him, like, I just like gushed all, like, I just told him about like how much I love him and adore him and how turned on I am by him. And of course, he like immediately starts getting hard, and like it just leads to like some delicious morning sex. And it was just such a fun, but even just like thinking, such a fun morning, such a delicious morning. But like going back to that juicy sense of devotion, it's like, and love, it's like, this is like what could be better? Like this is where I want to live my life all the time. So it feels yummy to now be bringing that to you all, and to be bringing it to also like this Forest Fairy Festival that I'm organizing and Forest Fairy Training School, like that sense of just like letting that frequency be in my body as I'm um, just living my life. Like it feels so good. Um, and then I'll share the fantasy or dream that came to me during the meditation, which was actually taking my two girls to Oaxaca City. I have two girls in their 20s, and taking them on, I really want to take them on a little like family vacation to Oaxaca City. And so I had this the specific thing that landed for me was all three of us sitting there having mole, which is like this really chocolatey sauce that, not always chocolatey, but super rich sauce, that the complex sauce that they make on Oaxacan dishes, that often has chocolate in it. And just like seeing them both be so like wowed uh by the taste and the flavors and stuff. So that was fun to um yeah, just imagine how grateful I would be to have that experience with them. So those are my couple of dreamy things that I wanted to put out there to share with y'all. And yeah, so I think I'll pause there and see if who's feeling brave to share maybe either a past or a future one that maybe came through during the meditation, or maybe something new um, that's percolating as a result of like hearing that share from me. So who's feeling ready? Who's got a bubbling dream or fantasy or desire to seed our field with today? It's like you're dropping this little seed
I'll
right
go
in
ahead
there.
and start.
You ready? Great.
Yeah. As far as like just meditating on dreams that have come true, um, yeah, I went right to this experience I just mentioned, and I, this wasn't a specific, dream or anything, but I feel like it's the most meaningful work that I've done so far in my career as a massage therapist, and
Hmm.
that is deeply fulfilling.
Hmm.
And as it happened, the I had several dreams come up in the meditation that I would like to see come true. But primarily, it was the dream of taking my daughter on a beach vacation somewhere. Um, and yeah, and I got this. I've never taken her to the beach. Her mom takes her to the beach every year. Um, and so I would love to be able to do that for her. And I think that will be realistic sometime soon. But yeah, well, I'll just share the image. There was a specific image that came up to me of just walking along the beach and collecting sea glass with her. And that felt really good. Yeah.
Hmm. Beautiful. Thank you, Dan. Hmm. Love that. Hmm. Ah. Well, I'm torn if I should have you pass the potato or if we should have someone volunteer. Or is there more? Got anything else? Another
Oh,
layer?
well, also, I guess I'll just say I definitely take your point about not not filtering the fantasies that come up, because like there were several other like sexy fantasies as well.
Hmm. Are you willing to name at least one of those? Because I would love to hear one of
uh,
those too.
yeah, sure. Um, I want to manifest a threesome. It's something I've never experienced, and I think it might be possible. Um, I want a truly open relationship, which um, I'm dating a woman right now, and it is like de facto open because like that's how I stated I wanted it from the beginning, but we've been monogamous, so like I want to branch out, you know. And I mean, I think we're on track to do that. And then, yeah, like, Sarah, you know about this, but I would really love to have some kind of explore some sort of sensual touch practice. And I really have no idea what that might look like, but yeah, definitely want to. What did you say? Seed the field of
Hmm.
possibility for it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That about covers it.
Yum. Yeah, those are all great. Wow, you had quite the fertile, all the things. Oh, I love all those. Yeah. I feel the dreamy energy in all of them. Hmm. Yeah. Ah, thank you. Any more? Anything else there?
Now that's it.
All right. At least that's it for now, right? I'm sure there's like, I mean, I think all of us have an endless supply. So, but it sounds like a good stopping place for now. Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Feels great to witness those. And I can feel it already, like makes the field richer as we each put our contributions out there and share them with each other. So, yeah. All right. Who else? Really, the rest of you ready? Daniel, you ready? Great.
Yeah. Um, Thanks, Dan. That was very helpful for me. Um, so uh, the dream that just came through is like it's a tiny detail in a much bigger dream, but and the big dream has been this amazing person who's been staying with me as a guest has like really changed my life in so many ways, including rearranging my furniture. Sarah, you've been here, and you may or may not remember, but here's my room has been completely turned around, and as a consequence of that, there was this darkness over the dining room table. Where you'd sit down to dinner and you couldn't even see what you're eating or that you're eating anything, and have to light candles. And so I really needed a chandelier. And Lila was away last weekend, and she came back and sort of apologetically told me she'd not been able to communicate, but had made the executive decision to purchase something. It's this amazing lamp. Can you see it here? Yeah, there it is.
Aw, over your
It's like
kitchen
the
table.
perfect thing.
I love it.
So I spent the day yesterday, wiring it up and hanging it up and getting everything working, and um, it's literally, I mean, very 3D reality, and at the same time very dreamlike.
Yeah.
Like, it's very straightforward stuff. You need a thing, you acquire that thing, and it's just life, right? But it has this really dreamy quality about it of like not just a thing, but the perfect thing, and fitting in and coordinating with everything, and then you know just working out. And like I say, that it's part of this this bigger and amazing, unexpected, unpredictable, ongoing dream. All the things I'm learning, and oh my gosh, all that. Yeah,
Mm,
so that's one big thing. Um, one dream that's already unfolding.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Feels so like present and visceral and like
Whew.
right now. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like wow, ongoing.
Oh,
Um, and then like the future thing, like right before I sat down, to get online with y'all, this came to me, and I'm a little hesitant to bring it up, but again, thanks, Dan, you helped me out here. Um, I have not shared sex with a female body person in like living memory. I'm not sure when the last time was. It's been a long time ago, and I have done that many, many, many times in my life, and I'm grateful for that wonderful experience. But I'd like to do that again sometime. So that's a real dream for me. That's like one that I kind of push away, like that's just a dream, or don't torture yourself over that. Um, but it's alive. It's real for me, and may or may not happen. Who knows? It would have to work out, you know. But
Mm.
but but, but yeah, that's a future one.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks.
All right.
I do
Yummy.
too, actually. Now you
Yeah.
mentioned
Oh, delicious. Yeah, both of them. Well, and I love like kind of swirling those energies together, right? Of
it.
like, look what's happening in your space,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
look at what this
The totally unexpected,
desire
right?
is. And
I mean, not something I could have planned or worked out step by step, but just like what's happening, the way the dream is just evolving,
yeah,
like they do.
yeah. And another principle that I want to just name from listening to you, Daniel, is like how the more we kind of move towards these magical people and relationships in our lives, like magic happens,
Yes.
like just by being together now and,
Hmm.
continuing to like weave
Hmm.
together the people in our lives who feel really good to
Yes.
be around. It's like,
Yes, you're right. That's a big piece.
yeah, just like cross pollinates and
Mhm.
makes it also the network stronger. Yeah.
Yes, and let me just say that living where I do, it's easy to believe there are so few of us here,
Mm,
and maybe that's numerically true. But on the other hand, because there are so few of us, we do cling together. We do, find each other.
hmm
We associate because it's not just a regular thing. It's noticeably something different that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you. Yay. Celebrating all of
Thank
that
God.
with you. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Hmm. And Dylan, it looked like you ready to go. I think I saw you raising your hand. Oh, I still can't hear you. You're still muted. I might need to unmute you. Yeah, that worked.
Can you hear me?
Hmm
Well, thanks everyone for your responses. That's made me feel comfortable to share. Um, I like the random unlimited fantasy that you had mentioned. Don't cut those off. I've had a couple of those myself that are just I don't know where they come from, and it would be so great. I don't know why. One of those, this is so random. I would love to have a raspberry farm here at my home. And I can picture an archway and it saying Raspberry Farm. And I love raspberries. I've got some bushes here, but I just think that would be a small little dream. Not that it would happen like you said, but it would be a great thing and it's fun to, think about. When we were meditating, one thing that came through, I had a couple things come through. For a long time, it was just colors and shapes and a real vivid panel of lavender
Mm.
over my third eye. And then I saw individual on top of me, and we were locked hands together and we were making love, and that was really nice. So I have been really lonely for a long time, and it's really nice to be able to visualize and have those dreams.
Mm.
Another thing that came through is you mentioned seeing something already finished. a fantasy done. I pictured myself leaving one great experience of maybe walking in the nude with a large group of people, or having just gone to a great festival and I'm packing up from that one and I'm on my way to the next one. And there's so many great options that with this new community of people, I don't know which one I'm going to. I don't know which state or what direction. And I'm just happy, ready to go to the next spot. Um, and Yeah, I guess one recent dream come true that actually happened within the past years or less would be going to just getting out there and going to a couple festivals over the summer and getting to experience something. I think it was Dan, as your name just mentioned, sensual touch with people or a group of people or strangers. I got to experience that for my first time in July, and it made me quit my career and rethink everything and take time for myself and recreate reality. It seems small, but it's not, and I would definitely recommend doing that. And I
Mm.
look forward. A dream come true is more of those. That's another thing. Thank you for letting me speak for so long.
Mm. Thank you. Yeah, yummy. Yeah, I love the abundance of imagining you packing up from one event and headed to the next one, like just rolling in this like abundance and really being held by the flow and the universe. And yeah, yeah. And the raspberry
Everybody
farm.
packing up their coolers and their portable battery stations, recommending which place to go next because they've been there so many times, and fun stuff like that.
Yep, yep. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I'm also really just chuckling about Godex and how you're at least the second person, there's probably more, but who where Godex has been like a life-changing thing where it's like, oh, I'm just totally unplugging from this one way of life and plugging into another one. And yeah, just like letting go of the matrix, so to speak. So yeah,
Very beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, I think one reason that festival is so powerful is because it's small. And that's one reason I'm really wanting the Forest Fairy Festival to be small, I think, is kind of inspired by Godex and just seeing like what a yeah, how powerful it is to really have a group of people like that. Yeah. Hmm. Thank you.
Thank
Anything
you.
else, Dylan? That was wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh, I've just been in that rigid community where I've been trying to be the least rigid person and the most helpful for so many years that coming out of it has made me feel very vulnerable and kind of nervous, but at the same time, the trade-off is so well worth it to get rid of those feelings and gain some different feelings, and eventually those will be in the past, and I'll have a whole new set of things going on, and it's all happening kind of fast, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long ago did you quit your job?
As soon as I got home from GodX in July.
Okay, so last summer. Yeah. Wow. Mm,
And I still talk to all my employees and a bunch of people and things like that. But I feel like I feel like it's a good decision to move on and be helpful to others in a different capacity.
yeah. 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 It feels like unleashing your magic on the world. Mhm.
Right.
Hmm. Wow. Love that for you. Celebrating with you. Yeah. All right. Does that feel complete for now, Dylan?
Yeah.
Great. 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 All right. Mervyn, do you feel ready to share?
Yeah. Well, first off, where is Godex and when is it?
It's in Kentucky. This year, I can't go because I can't remember. So I don't know when it's happening because I think I have a conflict this year, but it's generally just marketed on Facebook. I usually facilitate a cuddle party there. Um, yeah, so I'm
Okay.
sure we can get you info about it, but yeah, I can't go this
Yeah.
year. It's different this
Okay.
year because now they're including meals. They didn't used to include meals, but now they're including meals.
Okay. All right. No, but just hearing all the talk about festivals just made me. I just wanna put it out there because Kentucky fam, festivals that I've been to last year that I'm probably gonna go to again. Some of them this year, like My Path and Playthink, and I forget the other one. But anyway, so yeah, because I too love festivals tremendously. Starwood, which is in Ohio. So
Hmm.
yeah. Anyhow, so the thing that the dream the dream that came true for me what a couple of months ago or so was pretty not really run of the mill, but so I lost my health insurance through negligence of my own like last year, and I had been freaking out. I've been, first of all, it was my fault, and it really freaked me out. And I was trying to figure. I had to wait to get to reapply and all this stuff. So there was this period of real anxiety, and where that was my wish. I was like, I need this. I need this to happen. I need to get this back. So that was my wish, and interestingly enough, I got in the way of the manifestation of that wish two or three times by kind of fucking it up in my own way. But eventually, it came true. I mean, and it didn't look like it didn't even have any good reason to come true, but it came through. So that was a great relief. I was very ecstatic about that. What was interesting about that coming true was that I've been doing and still am doing a lot of therapy that involves some past life work. And I had an experience where I was trapped in a really tight spot physically. There was really, really, really tight spot, and it was extremely traumatic. And just before I came home to get the news in the mail that I got my health insurance back, I had parked my car and somebody had parked me in. And I was literally trapped in an extremely tight spot. And I only had this past life thing happen like a few days before that. I literally was able to back out with like maximum 2 inches on either side to spare. It was insane.
Hmm.
And I got out of that tight spot and went home and got the news that I got out of that other tight spot. So that just amplified. I was like, yes, that dream that dream definitely came true with interesting little add-ons. The future one also has an interesting add-on because the future dream came to me in a dream, and I'll make it more succinct than it actually was. But basically, I was the dream was I was in this urban environment that was a complete ruin. Everything was completely broken up, shredded, crumbling. As far as the eye could see, it was just like this complete wasteland. But I saw this area where they were rebuilding and they were steel working and welding and such, and they were rebuilding. And all the people involved in that dream were just, man, were just filled with love.
Mm,
It was kind of prophetic. It really was incredible because there was this crumbling environment, much crumbling structures, much like we have happening now. But all these people were just bursting with just the most intense love you could ever imagine. And I ended up going to that rebuilding area where they were rebuilding things, and helped me to realize that that's my dream. That I want to be involved in the rebuilding.
mm,
I want to be involved in building the new, whatever it is, that's going to come out of this, hopefully. So that was my future dream that I had, I had so that was it, that I had been involved in this and had done whatever it is I needed to do to help rebuild the fabric of reality, whatever it was. And it was, yeah, it was, that's a very, that's a big, that's a dream that's close to my heart. So yeah.
mm, mm. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, it feels very like archetypal.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. 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 Thank you for sharing.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
And I'm celebrating with you about the health insurance and kind of got goosebumps about this whole like tight spot thing of you getting out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Well, while we're on you, do you want to just keep going a little more deeply? I think we'll probably have time to work on yours as well as, Dan, to just spend a few extra minutes, like really workshopping and spending some time on, whether it's this dream or another one, but I'm super curious to lean into this one with you. Um,
Okay.
yeah, do you feel ready to go into it a little more deeply and
Yes, sure.
see what we might be able to learn? And
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
yeah, okay. Um, so as I'm like taking this in, like from you and just like imagining, well, I feel like it's also like getting to know you better. So like this is something that's really bubbled up from your psyche. Um, and as you were sharing about it, I was realizing that it really resonates with what I know of you as being as being such a warrior. I mean, you've heard me use that word to describe you before, of like being comfortable to be in situations that are kind of dire, and still holding this sense of love and hope.
Yeah, that was the theme in both of those.
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it feels good to just reflect that back and um, yeah, celebrate that I know this of you. Like I know that you have this capacity. Hmm, and I also want to reflect back that I know that your capacity for continuing to hold that hope and love and to bring that love yourself really seems to be nourished by your community and by your connections, and like like you reach out and you get the nourishment and support that you need, and it like seems to like make it kind of keeps your like fountain going, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
Um, yeah, yes, yes. I had to put
Yeah.
it in context, but yes.
Yeah, like I just see that you're good. Like, you mentioned the like the podcasts and the festivals and the friendships and the, things that you go to that really keep you fed, like Starwood, like I know
Yeah.
there's just things in your life that really feed you. Um, and just noticing how like that's part of your like ecosystem and you've really like curated it um to allow you to keep showing up in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it seems like this dream might be like a next level for you because you're already doing it to some degree. But I'm curious about the dream because it just seems like taking what you're already doing but like making it more like there's almost more contrast between the the environment that you're working in and the way you're showing up and other people are showing up with so much love.
Yeah, and that I mean that speaks to the next level of intensity
Hmm.
of the manifestation. Yeah, if there isn't, if it's mildly uncomfortable situations, well then it's, what you need to show up with isn't as doesn't need to be as intense as it does if the situation is, as you said, very dire. And I am looking to go public with it,
Hmm.
in a sense, to go public with it. And I feel that in doing so, it would help as I move that out, more stuff that speaks to what it's speaking to will come in, will come through.
Hmm.
That's the hope that there'll be a pipeline, and that it could be so it could be of service to others. It's
Hmm.
just really to be of service to, is, you know, maybe my perspective will be of service to others.
Hmm. For
Yeah.
sure. Also, I just realized Dan, Dylan, and Daniel, can I ask you all to turn off your videos? Because I really want to focus just on Mervyn. And then while I'm doing that, or while y'all are doing that, I just want to ask you to be holding Mervyn too, like to be helping. So we're all holding this for you right now, Mervyn. But I just want the three of y'all to be off camera because it'll make it easier for me to focus. Thanks, y'all. But please, yeah, be supporting us energetically. Okay. Um, yeah, so this next level of intensity, yeah, and going public with it. Yeah, I feel like excited to hear you say that. And because I know that you're already can be pretty comfortable, like, leading groups and teaching and, being in a public leadership role. Um, and so it feels really exciting to me to imagine you like just, yeah, taking that to the next level or like stepping into a new level of um, visibility, it sounds like, with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and as a result of the therapy, the inner work that I've been doing for the last few months, my my dreams have been very targeted.
Mm,
They've been very targeted and relevant and interesting, and I've had me on stage dreams in a variety of
mm,
manifestations, but I've had a couple of those that were very, very clear that that's what it
mm,
was
mm.
communicating.
Wow. Wow. Is there any specifics of like, any details that came through that might be helpful to name?
The dream, in the dream.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I well, let me try to edit it for brevity. But so yeah, so there was a small, and it wasn't like a massive stadium stage. It was kind of almost like a coffee house kind of situation stage where this Indian guru type guy was doing his thing, and I was in the audience, and I was and then this woman next to me was prodding me to get up on stage. You
Mm.
know, she was doing, you need to get up on stage. And then she kind of changed into a different kind of woman. It was a weird thing. But then this other different kind of woman also was going, "Yep, you need to get shit together, and you need to go up there." And so I went up there, and then this was weird. So I'm on the stage with this guy, and I'm leaning. So suddenly I find myself on stage, and I'm leaning against something, and I turn around and I look and I realize that I'm leaning back to back with this guy. I didn't realize that that was what was happening. So I realized I was leaning against his back. So I was kind of like, oh gosh, because he was like, this kind of guru guy, and I was like, oh sorry, I didn't mean to, whatever. And he was just like, "Pff, what, no problem, it was just like, yeah, you're fine." So that was interesting, but what was really funny is that the sensation of leaning against something was actually inspired by my cat in real life who was sleeping on my back.
Oh my God.
So that was the sensation. But yeah, but so that was one of those dreams.
Wow. Huh. Hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm here with you.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been looking at I've watched so many podcasts in the last few months, and they've all just been very inspiring. So it's kind of inspiring me to try to be inspiring as well. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I can sense that this is really coming from a really deep place in you. I like feel it in my toes right now. It's like goes all the way down my whole body.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels really exciting to be like witnessing creation right now, like what is this gonna look like for you? And um yeah, and I really this sense of your showing up in service to something bigger than yourself, like of a dream, of a calling. Um, yeah, it feels really, really palpable.
Yeah. And of course, it's not without real obstacles.
Hmm.
It's not without the voice that's there going, oh, this isn't gonna work out. This will be like, a lot of those things that you did in the past where you kind of went a ways with it and then it didn't quite work out. So there's all those, but overcoming those is also part of it's all bonded into service to self and other to move through
Hmm.
these obstacles. I mean, they're a part of me, and I through the work I've been doing, I treat these obstacles. I try not to look at them as obstacles. It's just various, as in IFS, internal family systems, it's like no bad parts, it's just parts that need love and acceptance. So that's kind of the work I'm doing, is learning how to integrate these quote unquote errant parts of myself that are just kind of looking for light.
Yeah. Or exiled parts, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that they
yeah.
call them in IFS? So a couple things are coming to me. One, I would love to just speak to these like, kind of these practical things and that may come up. And then I have a little like experiential exercise that maybe we could do together. Um, so yeah, I totally hear you. First, I'll speak to this whole like, the reality or like the bumps on the road or the things that may make this impractical. I mean, of course, those are out there. And I think this is going to feel good to hear myself say this because I need this reminder too. Um, that, there's always things that come up that make things awkward or that make things that like are sticks in our spokes, right? Of like that didn't work the way I thought it was going to, or this is challenging, or, some struggle that may show up as part of manifesting something or realizing, like making something real. Um, and the way I've come to relate to those over the years is that it's kind of the universe asking us, like, how much did you really want this? Like, are you sure? It's like the universe kind of checking in, like how much in consent we are to manifesting this dream. It's like, do you really want this? Like, how are you willing to do X, Y, and Z to, you know, um, to overcome this or to actually make this thing happen? And sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the answer is no, this is too much of a pain in the ass. Like, I'm done, right? Like the dream has served enough and I can step off at this point or just let go of it and move on to something else. And sometimes our answer is, yeah, I still really want this and I'm gonna dig in deeper and keep going. And I'm naming this because I want there's no judgment either way, right? Like if we decide to stop, just be like, yeah, that was the end of the road for me and this particular, dream or idea or practice. Or yes, I'm still in. It's like a relationship, it's like, is this relationship meant to continue or not? And we're so programmed to thinking that the only things that are valuable are the ones that quote unquote last forever or, work out, you know. But really, like, think about, some of the relationships in my life, maybe your life, that have been the most meaningful and the most like transformational. Sometimes are really short. Sometimes are really like things just drop in and drop out. Um
Or maybe
and they
even somewhat traumatic.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so I just want to encourage you to like to not like I don't know, it's just a different way of relating to those reality checks or all the practical things that can come in and yeah, they're gonna show up. Um and there'll be an opportunity for you to check in if you want to keep going or not. But they don't have to be like we don't have to judge ourselves if we get to the point where we're like, yep, me and this particular vision, we're done. I'm really watching this with Forest Ferry Training School because part of me is like, oh yeah, to make this training school and make this festival, and this is going to be what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and it's going to turn into this business, and yeah, and then I'm like, I don't know any of that at this point. I may get through one season of this and just be like, I'm done. Thank you. That
Yeah.
was, you know. So, but we're so programmed to like futurize and turn things into these like permanent things that anyway, so that was my little talk on that. Um, is that helpful?
Yes. No, it has been, yeah, talking about the quote unquote dead ends
Hmm.
and what they can teach you. And yeah, no, yeah, that is important because you well for a variety of reasons, but one of which is you want to avoid seeing them as failures.
Hmm.
You know, you want to see
Yeah, because
them as
they're
part of.
not. Like I definitely don't see them as failures. I just see it as like yeah, it's just the end of the road with that idea because it's not, your heart just isn't feeling it anymore for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, like I'm still writing this screenplay that, you know, but what is interesting, and so this is like, no, it has got me thinking a little bit because I used to run track, and what I loved about running track is that nobody can tell you you didn't come first or second or third or what that's it. It's you and that's the result. It's
Hmm.
no referee, oh, the referee
Hmm.
did this or this other person did this one, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was like it's cut and dried. You do the work, you go here, and it's up to you. Of course, now interestingly, what I did, I overdid it as I can do, and I thought, this thing is so important to me. I don't want anybody else in this process. So I didn't have the benefit of having like coaches, like really looking at somebody to get feedback from, even though it's just me. I was so like, I'm doing this by myself, and I overdid that aspect of it and didn't get as good as I got pretty good, but I didn't get as good as I could have if I had had like a support team, something as simple as that.
Hmm.
And I'm seeing how, but still, that whole idea of it being the value of it, the value of it is immediate. It's so, you know what I mean? And the
Hmm.
immediacy of it as well. There wasn't like there were no balls on or rackets or anything. It's just me. It's just one person and their legs and
Hmm.
streamlined, slim down. That's it. And even like writing a screenplay, yes, it is just you, but brother, there is a huge machine between finishing writing that thing and getting it made.
Yeah.
There's a massive machine between that. But this thing here now with the podcast kind of appeals to me in that way too, because it is very much like the running,
Hmm.
where it's immediate. It's whatever you're downloading, so to speak, whatever is moving through you, you express it and you put it out there. And it gets the attention or the lack of attention or whatever that it deserves, or that it it's just you putting it out there. There's no filter, there's no machine between you and the manifestation of it. You put it out there, and
Hmm.
that is what appeals to me. And it makes me think of my running, and it's also very frightening. It's also very scary as well.
Sure.
But
Well,
I
let
think,
me let me share with you the experiential exercise that I wanted to offer you. And I could see this going one of two ways. So what came, well, or many ways, but definitely two different ways. Um, what came was this idea of really letting you kind of feel into this dream of yours and to engage together about it and to bring in even some erotic energy into it where it's like imagining like you and I engaged like connected, like looking at each other, feeling each other, and me seeing you manifesting this dream, like the person in front of me that is going to step into this, and you allowing yourself feel how it feels to be seen in that, to be manifesting it. and to just see if that feels good to you, and like just give your body the experience of being seen in the creation process. So that was my first idea, was like to do a little one-on-one with you really in this creative process and me witnessing and supporting you. And to like maybe run a little erotic energy around it. And then as you were talking, I was like, maybe we could also do it with bringing the others back on screen and all doing it together and witnessing you in it. If you felt like you wanted to, this would be different than your running thing, right? Because then it would be more like maybe having a team of people support you in it. Um,
Yeah,
and
which I wish I did do. So yeah. Yeah.
okay. So does that feel, and it might be a little more complex to have the, all of us support you in it, but we could try it. And I would invite you to be in your power and in your erotic energy, like as you're receiving from all of us. Does this make sense? I feel like it's sort of vague and intuitive, but hopefully I'm communicating enough for it to land.
No, it's giving strength to the to the dreaming process.
hmm
It's adding support, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
totally.
exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you want to try it with maybe the whole group?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if the other three of you, look, they're all three D names. We have Daniel, Dan, and Dillon. If the three Ds, it's like a triple D size bra. If y'all want to come back online with us and we can be in service of Mervyn's Mervyn's dream. Um, yeah. So, and I'm thinking I'll set a little timer and we'll just do it for, I don't know, maybe like 3 minutes. Does that sound like a good amount of time, Mervyn? Feel like that you can tap out if you feel like 3 minutes feels like too long.
Okay.
Does that feel like a good
That,
start?
yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna get the timer going. Okay, got my phone set here. So for these 3 minutes, the invitation is for all four of us to be supporting Mervyn in stepping into what you did use the word going public, right? Or the phrase you said going public. So I feel like that's the part that we're specifically like feeding you energy towards, is like going public with this dream, whether it's, we don't know exactly the specifics of it, but I think energetically it's quite clear that it's like it's like an up leveling for you. Um, and the invitation, if you're okay with it, Mervyn, is for us to be, and for you to be in your erotic energy, and for us to be like feeding that and witnessing it. Because I think all dreams are easier to manifest when we're using our erotic energy to manifest them. Is that agreed? Do you agree with that? Mervyn, you've been hanging around me long enough that you're probably not going to argue with me on that one. So, so the invitation is to be in that to the degree that feels good to you, and to allow us to witness you in that. Um, and we will energetically support and witness. Yeah. Does that sound, Dan, Daniel, Dillon? Does this sound clear for y'all? Okay. Mervyn, any other specifics you want us to know before we start, or is there any tweaks? I want this to feel good for you and energizing and supportive. So if there's any tweaks that you would like to make to it before we do our little 3 minute experiment, let me know.
I mean, we're all in agreement of support, so
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be silent. It's
Okay,
whatever you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be silent.
great. Thank you. That's a good clarification. So if people want to unmute and share things of support along the lines with
Yeah.
that intention, they could.
Probably, yeah, probably brief phrases or words or something like that. I would
Yeah,
suggest, yeah.
as people feel inspired. Yeah, awesome. Okay. All right, let's share a breath together and then I'll start our timer. Ah, all right, here we go. We're here for you, Mervyn. Mm. Mm. If we were there with you in person, I would all want us to be touching you, I'm realizing. Mm. All right, just another few seconds. It went really fast. Is there anything else? Ah, yeah, if anyone has any words or.
That was 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Wow,
I know, it was like, felt like 2 seconds.
that was great. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Yeah, it felt really
Yeah,
yummy
that was
to
quite
gift
real.
you. Yeah, feels so good to support you. Yeah, thank you for being willing to receive. Yeah. It's like a little group scene or something. So I feel like we need some time for aftercare and debrief and a little harvest here. If there's anything, take another couple minutes. Yeah, Mervyn, if there's anything that yeah, that came through for you, or yeah, what did you notice? How was it for you?
Just the power of Gathering in numbers,
Yeah.
really. It's a
Mm.
real thing. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Dylan, Dan, Daniel, anything else that you all want to say or just want to leave a little more space?
I just feel creative energy that everyone there and everyone here is all creating,
Hmm. Yeah.
testing.
Yeah. And I'm really, thank you for saying that, Dylan. And really, what that brings up in me is appreciating how we can all be in Mervyn's dream of being part of these ones that are recreating the new with a lot of love.
Well, is this what the Aborigines did with the collective dream time?
I don't know. Say more.
I think this is what the dream time of the Aborigines constitutes. I think so. That
Mm,
they got together and actually did collective dreaming.
mm,
Yeah, it's
really?
powerful. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think so. I read a book, Mutant Message Down Under. I believe that was mentioned there.
Wait a minute, what is mutant message down under again? I've heard the phrase and I can't remember where it's from.
It's a book about a reporter who lived with the Aborigines by quite a mistake and an accident, and it changed everything.
Huh.
Okay.
Margot Morgan, MD, is
Hmm.
the author.
Margot Morgan.
Yeah,
I know that, yeah.
it's a really amazing book.
Hmm.
It's
I'm writing
well
it
worth
down.
reading.
Hmm. Sounds like
I
it
must
might
say,
be a
I did have
textbook
a
for us.
vision
Oh,
during
go ahead.
giving you energy and focusing on your things happening. I must say that I believe it was your base that I saw in my vision. I saw a man's base, meaning pelvis, rear end, penis. However, your top were a set of three mountains that continued growing higher and higher towards the sky. So I don't know. It just felt like something strong and growing and powerful in you. So
Three mountains.
yeah, and it was you. Your top were three mountains growing stronger and bigger and higher, and with your base
Well,
at
that's
the
funny
bottom.
because I'm from Trinidad and Trinidad is has three mountain ranges.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was you. It wasn't any of us.
Huh.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. We are in the collective dream time, y'all. We have
Yes.
gone through, we have created a portal and stepped through. Hooray. Yeah. I love it. Wow. This is so I just yeah, I love my life. It's like so fun to just like this is the new normal, y'all. Like this is where we're living. Like this is it. Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
Ah, thank you, Mervyn. Yeah. Wow, it's so wild because when we started focusing on yours, I was like, huh, this will be an interesting one because, like the last call that we did, we focused on Daniel and this other woman, Susan, and we did very like Daniel, you were working on your living situation.
Mhm.
Susan was working on something quite specific. And so, and both of those fed in really well to kind of the modality that I usually do, which is around like intimacy and one-on-one connection, right? So when we started working on yours today, Mervyn, I was like, wow, this is like a whole bigger container than I usually work in. And I was really curious to see how it would weave. But I just kept like saying yes and showing up and just being like, okay, I'm just going to listen to what's happening in my body, truly being like my vessel, like y'all know that
Yeah.
that's my other name. And it's so beautiful to see how it all just weaves, with a circle. It's so powerful to be in a circle like this. So yeah, and you each had like Dillon, that was such a important piece of magic.
Wow.
Yeah. And Dan, I feel sad that it's already 1:30 and we're not getting to workshopping any of yours, but I feel like this was so neat that just it wove all of us into it. So yeah,
Yeah, that's okay. In fact, if I could just reflect on,
please.
this experience, yeah, I love what you said about like this is the new normal. We are in this moment, the five of us are creating what we want to be our new normal,
Hmm.
and that's going to ripple out into the world, and I think that's beautiful. And Mervyn, I so resonate with your vision of structures collapsing. That's obvious,
Clearly happening. Yeah.
uh, but also like coexisting with that, people coming together to build new structures out of love, and that's also what we're doing in this moment. And um, and in our our broader lives. Um, so I think that's like a really powerful antidote to just thinking that everything's going to hell, which is like something that I can fall into certainly at times, and I think all of us might. Um, it's important to remember that we are also. It's important to remember that we are also um, uh, in the process of building and rebuilding, and that's not going to stop. Um, so that gives me hope. And just to what came up for me as you were describing your dreams, Mervyn, was a vision that I had like coming out of a psychedelic journey a few months ago, um, before the election, I think. Um, but it's still like I feel its presence still in me, and it was just this vision of um, a huge rally in DC on the National Mall with the reflecting pool, and I just saw, and I mean, I hope it doesn't sound trite, but what I saw was a bunch of old white guys throwing their red hats into a bonfire, and and also, and the other part of this dream was that it was going to be a mass dosing of MDMA, but also available at this event. And so, like, I just envision this huge collective healing, assisted by this wonderful medicine that, you know, some of us know very well. And I don't know, like I don't typically have such highly visual images. I don't typically think in images. So the fact that anything came at all was interesting to me, and that's something that's just stuck with me. And I think it's maybe it's somehow linked to what we're doing here.
Mm, mm,
That's a
yeah.
beautiful dream.
Yeah.
Thank
You, Dan.
you all for
Wow. Wow. Oh, it does feel so much like I feel a lot more ease in my nervous system around what's happening collectively in our country right now. Yeah. Having just heard from both of you about, I mean, we don't fucking know, of course, what's happening, but there's just like something about like holding the hope and the love and the knowing of how powerful it is when people organize. I took a walk with my friend Jeff yesterday, and we were talking about the hurricane in Asheville and about how the rebuilding that happened here was from people organizing and rebuilding. It wasn't from organizations doing it. And it was
Wow.
from people showing up with love. I mean, it was your dream, Mervyn. I mean, that's what happened here. Yeah. So, yeah. Wow, so interesting. I was like, wow. Yeah, focusing on these like bigger picture dreams. I had that sense today. I was like, I tend to focus on like these really small, like within my sphere, but I'm like, there's such big stuff happening right now that I was wondering if we were going to tap into that. But it wasn't going to be me that was going to bring us to tap into that. So thank you, y'all, for bringing bringing the collective wisdom here. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, maybe we do a one word, like everyone shares one word, and then we close. So how about let's share a breath. I'll start with two words, deep gratitude.
You know, mine was gratitude.
I say love.
Satisfaction.
Connection.
Ah. Love y'all. Thank you for being here.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. That could have been a word too, right? Just wow.
Thank you, everybody, for your energy. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yummy. Y'all are amazing. Ah, all right. Well, till next time, y'all. Mwah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Thank you,
Bye,
Sarah.
everyone.
Bye.
Blessings. Bye.